What do I like about Uncommon? I like that, we got a group of guys that understand why it's important to get out here and get after it, not only physically, but mentally, just kind of setting the tone for the day and the week, being out here early, getting that positive, mental attitude going early in the morning. We not only talk about the importance of physical health, of course, but it's a lot about mindset, the way that you approach and attack each day, each moment. And for me, Uncommon is that positive mental influence in my life, whether it's once a week, once a month, just kind of gets me in the right headspace to attack the day.
So today we're switching it up a little bit, and we're going to do three main stations, all kettlebell work. Every station is going to have a leg, it's going to have an upper, and it's going to have a core. So station one is going to be goblet squats, paired with kettlebell marches, paired with kettlebell rows. Station two is going to be kettlebell shoulder press, and we are going to pair that with kettlebell swings, and then we're going to do some bear crawls, get down and dirty in the sand, back and forth. And station three, we are doing, you're going to have to edit this out, but I can't remember station three. We're doing some body weight jump lunges. We're gonna do some kettlebell pull throughs, and then we're gonna do some med ball slams as well. And then we're gonna change it up and do a little challenge at the end. We're gonna have a set distance between two cones, two teams, and we're gonna see who can throw the med balls down and back faster. So get a little competitive today, get a little teamwork in. We're switching it up a little bit. We're doing more kettlebells, more strength today. The other days have been a little more conditioning, a little more cardio. So we just like to keep it fresh, keep it a little challenging still, bring in a teamwork aspect and also some individual aspect.
So I was thinking about what we were gonna deliver today from a message standpoint, and the intention for today is basically about intention. And one of the reasons why we talked about it, or why I want to talk about it, ironically, is because I've learned so much about intention from Adam. Actually, he's constantly talking about being intentional about your decisions and about your morning, and it's just really impacted me a lot. So I found this cool thing online. I saw a demonstration, put my own spin on it, so we'll go over that now. If you guys want to come in, you can take a seat, whatever. We're not going to do any breath work, but whatever you want to call this. We're going to call it a jar today, but it's probably a vase. So this jar, this empty jar, represents our life, right? We'll all start with the same one. We all start with an empty jar. We all start with an empty life. And the question isn't whether or not we're going to fill it, because we're all going to fill it with something, right? The real question is, what are you going to choose to fill it with? And so that brings us to these golf balls. And the golf balls need to represent the most important things in your life. So they could be, your marriage, your kids, they could be your religion, they could be your health, it's probably a good one, your purpose, whatever are the most important things to you guys, and whatever we're going to try to figure out what those most important things. I call those like the tier one things that we're going to fill our cups with. So after that, we would go to tier two. And tier two is going to be represented by these rocks or pebbles, right? And they're like your career, your business, they're going to be your financial health, they're going to be your hobbies, your car, your house, whatever those things are, right? And so we're starting to fill up our cup and our life and our jar. And then tier three, and going back to these pebbles, they are important, yeah? They're, I would even argue, vital, but they're not more important than the golf balls. So then we go to tier three, and tier three is going to be represented by this sand, okay? And the sand is supposed to represent basically everything else in your life. And in 2026, I would argue that the sand in this tier three side of things is going to be basically representing distractions. And so that could be doom scrolling, hours on Netflix, caring about the opinions of others online that we don't even know, notifications, whatever it is, but it's basically anything that we're giving our time and our energy to that's not bringing a ton of value back to our life. And what I found interesting, and again, I saw this kind of demonstration, I put my own thing on it, but is now we have this full life that we filled up, and it's full of our three tiers of being intentional about priorities, right? And if I were to dump all this out now, and start over. And all I do is I use the same recipe, the same three tiers of things in life, but I reverse the order of operations and I start with the sand and then I do the pebbles. There's not going to be enough room in this cup for the golf balls. And so, you know, why that's important is because I think, you know, as men, we need to realize that, like, that's what we're doing in our lives too. We're not starting the day with, or our life or our mornings with enough intention to prioritize the things that matter most. And, you know, when you don't, what I learned is that when you don't, you know, be intentional about what you're prioritizing, life is going to unintentionally replace it with whatever's left, right? And so nobody's waking up thinking that they want to drift apart from their marriage. I certainly didn't. Nobody's waking up wanting to, like, be unhealthy. I certainly didn't. Or I don't know what other example, you know, no one's waking up thinking today's the day I'm going to stop chasing goals and my dreams, but it happens. And it happens, you know, one cup of sand at a time, or one handful of sand at a time. And so, you know, I think the goal here is to identify, you know, what's actually important in life and making sure that we're intentional about prioritizing that. And so, you know, for me, I realized that, like, the thing that I've probably learned the most in 2026 from the experience, from the people I'm surrounding myself with, from doing this and just practicing, you know, working on myself, or maybe even it's the people I'm removing, it's that, you know, I used to think that it was all about adding to life. And now I think what I'm learning the most is that it's not about what we're adding and what we're, you know, doing more and pressing more, but it's about really making sure that we're taking care of our golf balls and recognizing that everything else in life is just sand. Because when you choose sand, you're unintentionally not choosing golf balls, you know? And so I honestly believe that that's kind of my motto for 2026. It's what I'm going to try to do moving forward. Is I'm actually going to take 5 golf balls when I get home. I'm going to ruin 5 brand new Pro V1s, and I'm going to put my 5 things that I prioritize most, and I'm going to put it in a nice, pretty, you know, mason jar or whatever, and I'm going to put it right on my desk so that I'm intentional every morning when I'm making my list of things to do for the day or whatever, that I never fill my cup up with sand anymore first. And that includes for me, you know, prioritizing being a dad over work, or, you know, taking care of my marriage over other relationships, and whatever the case may be for you guys. But I think that's, you know, the intention for today is making sure that we're intentional about what we're filling up our cup with. And honestly, I think that's what's going to separate us. I think that's, in today's day and age, is what's the uncommon man, is that we're being intentional about our choices and what matters most, and going from there. So that's the
Single one of those breaths.
I really appreciate you guys, man. I'm honestly a better human because of this, and with all your guys' help. It's been an awesome year. It's been awesome since we started this, honestly. So I appreciate every one of you guys. I hope you guys have a great week. Let's be intentional about this week, and if you guys need anything, as always, man, let me know. So, all right, uncommon on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Uncommon.
Oh yeah.
Getting in this water.
You hopping in?